Hey, it's Dr. Fred, and I'm coming to you today because I saw a post on Facebook the other day, and that is the government now has an experimental virus vaccination. There's a vaccination coming up, and so many people are like, thank God, a vaccination is a savior. Let's get rid of this thing. And here's my question: how do you want to live? Because it was H1N1 vaccination, and now there's going to be the coronavirus vaccination. And what's vaccination next year? And what's the vaccination after the year after that? And what thing is going to be after that? And when does it stop? When does the outside in approach to health actually stop? Because when we look at one side of medicine says, hey, we need all these vaccinations and we need to get this, we need to get that. Yet medical care on one side, it's the third leading cause of death in this country. That's very well known. Heart attacks, cancer, medical care. The next thing is there's a drug for everything, right? There's a vaccination for all those mandatory vaccinations. We have the most mandatory vaccinations required. Now you can't even get into school because of some vaccination without being totally vaccinated. They want to make it so you can't travel unless you're vaccinated. And why is that? I mean, look at the drugs. There's drugs for everything, yet there's the most asthma we've ever had. There's the most childhood cancer we've ever had. There's the most autoimmune disease we ever had. There's the most Alzheimer's we ever had. There's the most disease that we've ever had in the history of the world. We're one of the sickest countries in the world, and that's one side of medicine. There's even commercials for drugs. I've seen commercials where if you're happy for no reason, then you need this drug. You know, let's see, if I'm actually full of joy for no reason, I can just walk outside in the sunshine and I can be joyful, then I need a drug, right? So when does the craziness stop? We're looking for this savior because people are looking out the window and not in the mirror. And this isn't supposed to be a spiritual talk, but do you think God made a mistake? Do you think that we have the ability for immunity? So on the other side, a natural immunity, on the other side of medicine, there's a new side, a whole new medical science. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about medicine right now. There's one side, third leading cause of death. Let's go into the beneficial research. It's called neuro-immunology. You haven't heard those words. They're probably not going to, when you watch the news, they're not going to talk about this on the news. They're not going to talk about neuroimmunology. So 2 years ago, I wrote this book, Back to Health, because I've been a chiropractor for 31 years. So what I've done, I had 4 practices in 15 years, and we would take care of all these people that were medical failures, that gave up on medicine, right? And they would come in sick, and we would fix their spine. And here was the science of neuroimmunology. So what I want to do is I just want to read you some of the top research studies that are in the top research. These are medical studies. All I'm doing is talking about medicine. I'm not talking about chiropractic. I am a chiropractor talking about medicine. So let's see, what do they say? So today I'm going to read a study from Lancet. It's one of the top medical research journals. Lancet, June 2nd, 2001. It's called Immunology, an Overview of the Immune System. So let's check this out. What does this medical journal say about this new science that you're not hearing today on the news? It says the nervous system and the immune system have such a multitude of connections that they could directly be referred to as a single system. What's that mean? The nervous system and the immune system work together so congruently, they're almost considered to be the same. Then what's it say? The nervous system senses damage. What's that mean? Damaged tissue. What's that mean? Well, what do we know about coronavirus? It damages the lung alveoli. It damages the little sacs that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide through your lungs. And when it damages that tissue, you get inflammation. That's why people get pneumonia. That's why when you have a virus, even the flu, a lot of people die of pneumonia. Guess what? Every year, an average of 500,000 people die of respiratory disease from the flu. 500,000. Right now and that's worldwide. Right now we're at 52,000 for coronavirus. So right now we're at 1/10 of the amount of people that normally die every year from the flu. My question is, how many of those, I'd like to see a study, how many of those 500,000 got the flu vaccine? I would just be curious. I'm just saying, I don't know. So what's the efficacy of that? Not to mention the secondary effects, which is why there's this whole controversy about the efficacy and vaccinating kids. So anyway, but that's another topic. So it senses damaged tissue. It senses infectious agents. What's another word for infectious agents? Viruses. So the nervous system detects viruses and bacteria and fungi and other things. Foreign bodies, which would be, what would a foreign body be? It would be animal tissue in a vaccination. Did you know that vaccinations contain animal tissue? Well, how does a virus have a snake and bat tissue in it? Because the way God created Mother Nature is viruses don't jump species. So in other words, a cat would never get a dog virus. How do humans get animal viruses? How do multiple animals get in one virus? The answer is through genetic engineering that the government's been doing for decades, where they combine, and this has been through vaccination. I don't know if you knew that or not. I'm just saying, in Mother Nature, viruses, the way God created it, viruses don't jump species. So now viruses are jumping species, which that's what man did. God didn't do that, man did it. Okay, so how do you have a virus that's, I'm just saying, the snake and a bat? So anyway, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the nervous system. So sorry for getting off on that. Am I? Not really. So foreign bodies could be animal genetics from, who knows, I don't know, maybe a vaccination, with the help of chemical releasing immune cells. So it detects damage, infectious agents, foreign bodies with the help of chemical releasing immune cells. So you know, white blood cells, they release this chemical. It's called hypochlorous acid. So immune cells release hypochlorous acid. By the way, you can buy hypochlorous acid from a company called Nixall, Nixall. And by the way, with experiments, they show that if you put a virus, because COVID-19 is one strain of coronavirus, so there's other strains of coronavirus, where they show on their website, and I'm just talking about their website. Hey, Scott, how's it going? Hey, you guys, I'm just talking about their website. They show that other strains of corona have been killed 99.999% efficacy in 10 minutes. So I'm just saying, hypochlorous acid has been known to kill coronavirus variation. So now let's go back to this again. Senses damage, infectious agents, and foreign bodies with help of chemical releasing immune cells, and deals with these problems by deploying, releasing different types of immune cells to carry out specific procedures. What's that mean? You have different types of immune cells that detect cancer cells, that detect allergens, that detect bacteria, that detect viruses, right? So disturbances of the nervous system, what would that be? A subluxated spine. What's that mean? A spine out of alignment. So a disturbances of the nervous system function diminish, reduce the ability of an individual, that would be you, me, I, everybody watching this, and every human on the planet, diminishes the individual to sense and repair damage and combat infection, cancer, etc., directly related to diminished health. So nerve function and immune function go together. The spinal cord carries energy from the brain to the organs. The spinal cord travels through our spinal column. It's already shown proof that abnormal structure of the spine causes stress to the spinal cord, which diminishes nerve function, which diminishes immune function. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying the nervous system and immune system are tied together. Now, what else am I saying? Hey, this is a medical study. This is a medical study. So when I wrote, well, this thing goes backwards. When I wrote this book, I wrote this 2 years ago, and I just wrote it for chiropractors that, hey, you know what? They should probably give it to their patients. But see, God knows. God knows what's coming up. He knows that if you're looking for the great savior for that vaccination and what's in that needle that's going to save your health, then I would ask you to reconsider, because right now it's experimental. What's that mean? We don't know how the effects are going to be. And on CNN the other day, Fauci was saying, hey, we know vaccinations can make the disease worse, so we need to experiment for a while to see if we have the right combination. And the reality is, do you want to wait? Are you the one that's going to be in line, or are you the one that's going to take responsibility for your health and say, you know what, I already have everything that I need, but you know what, it's not the easy way. So if you want the easy way where you can have health through a needle, all the power to you. I don't choose that way. I would invite you to look to something else and realize that we have the power that's inside us, and maybe we should look at nutrition. Maybe we should look, number one, at our nerve function, number two, at our nutrition, number three, maybe at our spiritual, mental, emotional health, number four, get out of fear. But what's number one? We need to look to our nervous system. So I wrote this book for the general public. So my question is, would $15, and you can read this book in 2 hours, and if it could give you confidence in your health for the rest of your life and help you take over power so you don't have to fear the invisible Goliath, because if you think this is going to be the last invisible Goliath that's going to come along, hey, by the time we go through this, we're going to be in flu season 2021, 2022, 2023. So how are you going to live? That's the question. Would 2 hours to read something in 15 minutes, if that could give you protection and confidence over the health of your family, go to Elite Coaching, ELITE Coaching LLC.com, get a copy of this, read it, because this will change your life. The reason I'm doing this is a healthy spine and nervous system has been the answer since the inception of man. Ancient cultures have lived knowing that you have to take care of your spine and nervous system. Now, finally, we have a new medical science that's proving what most even ancient cultures have known for thousands of years, and we're bringing it into today's world. Hey, that new medical science is called neuro-immunology. The studies are right here, and I hope that all of us can make a difference. So when we come out of this, we're going to live in a new world, gang. We're already transitioning. You get to define what you do today will define the new world that you live in, even if it's just your world. So get that book. Hey, let's do what we always known to be the truth. If this is new knowledge for you, get that book. It is very influential. And I do this because I love you. And let's make a difference in the world today. And let's all take action to determine what that new world looks like. All right, I'm going to be making more lives. I'm going to bring you more studies from this book. Love you guys. And let's make an impact in humanity so we don't have to live in fear. We can live in confidence. All right, take care.